Welcome to another session. Today we will discuss functions and inverse of functions. Very important topic of grade 12, and this is part 5 of our videos. Please subscribe my channel. Now let us think about the meaning of function first. Then we will go to the inverse of a function. Look at the flow diagram. When x equal to minus 4, we substitute minus 4 into the equation. We get minus 11. Use the calculator. X equal to 0. Then we get y equal to 1. And when x equal to minus 3 into the equation, we get y equal to minus 8. So the x value and the y values are very clear. We see that for each value of x, there is one and only one y value. So such an equation, we call it a function. So we say fx is a function. Now look at this flow diagram. Our equation is y equal to root of x. We substitute again. We substitute 4. Root of 4 is plus 2 or minus 2. We get two values for y. Same thing. When you substitute 9, we know that it will be plus 3 and minus 3. 25, we will have 5 or minus 5. So what we conclude? For each value of x, there are more than one y value. Therefore, we say fx is not a function. Vertical line test for the graph of a function. Just use a vertical line and decide whether it is a function or not. We have graph of fx here. Now it's a parabola. We test with a vertical line. Look at the vertical line. It is passing through A. This one is passing through C. Another one is passing through D. Another one is passing through all these points. We notice that for each x value, there is only one y value. One and only one y value. So we conclude fx is a function. Gx, another function. Here is the graph. We are going to test whether it is a function or not. We use our vertical line test. Look at the vertical lines. Now what we notice, for every x value, there are two y values. So for each x value, there are two y values. Now our conclusion is, therefore gx is not a function. Simple. Now after discussing the function, we are going to now study about the inverse of a function. Look at the example here. F of x equal to y equal to 3x plus 2. We substitute different values for x. When x equal to 1, we substitute into the equation. We use the calculator and we get equal to 5. X equal to 4, we get 14. X equal to 7, we get 23. So that is the function f. Look at another function. Gx is given as y equal to 1 over 3x minus 2 over 3. Another straight line. Now, what we are going to do is, we got the y values of f, that is 5, 14 and 23. Now we use those y values here as the x. When we substitute x equal to 5 into g, we get y equal to 1 over 3 times 5 minus 2 over 3 equal to 1. When we use x equal to 14, we get 4. Use the calculator. When we substitute 23, we get 7. So, what we understand, you see the x and y coordinate of each point. 1, 5 becomes 5, 1. 1, 5 is the coordinate of f. Now, look at the 5, 1. That one is swapped. X becomes y and y becomes x. And 4, 14 becomes 14, 4. 7, 23 becomes 23, 7, vice versa. So what we do is, if we have a coordinate or we have a point with coordinates a, b on f, then the coordinates, corresponding coordinates on f inverse will be b, a. In short, the fx and gx are swapping the points. What we understand, g is the inverse of f and f is the inverse of g. That's how we learn about g. Now, the inverse of f is written as f inverse. That is not f to the power minus 1. It is called f inverse. Don't think that it is 1 over f. This is another notation to represent the inverse of a function. Now, we must know how to determine the inverse of a function, or how to calculate, how to find the inverse. That's our exam question. We are given a function fx equal to 2x plus 1. What's our method? We understood that the x coordinate will become the y coordinate will become the x, or swapping x and y. Determine the equation of the inverse of fx in the form f inverse x equal to 3. That is our question of 3 marks. Y equal to 2x plus 1. Our method is replace x with y and y with x. Simple. Now we have to make y the subject of the equation. Just modification of the equation. We get 2y equal to x minus 1. Therefore, y equal to, divide all the terms by 2. We get y equal to half x minus half. So that is the inverse of f. We write f inverse x equal to half x minus half. Let us look at another example. Fx equal to 1 over 4x square and x is less than or equal to 0. The question is to determine the equation of the inverse of fx in the form f inverse x. Okay, we start. Y equal to 1 over 4x square. Replace x with y and y with x. So we get x equal to 1 over 4y square. Now make y the subject of the equation. Now we get y square equal to 4x. Y equal to plus or minus square root of 4x. Simple as that. Therefore, f inverse x is equal to negative root of 4x. Why? Because for fx in the question, x is less than or equal to 0. Now, for f inverse, the x is greater than or equal to 0. That's why we use negative root of 4x. Here comes another question of graph. Sketch the graphs of fx and f inverse x on the same set of axes. 3 marks. What is fx? Fx equal to 1 over 4 x square, where x is less than or equal to 0. We are allowed to use only the negative values for x. We use the table and we calculate on the calculator. X is -4, -2, 0, any 3 points. We get the y values. Now what we do, we plot these 3 points and sketch the graph. So it's not the complete parabola, it is only the negative side. Now our question is to also sketch f inverse x. What we do, we already know that we swap x coordinate with y. We swap x and y and then draw a smooth curve and we get a beautiful graph of f inverse. So that's how we scored 3 marks in this question. Sketch the graph of f and f inverse. Another question, fx equal to x square. Sketch the graphs of f and f inverse. We start, we have the equation, we make the table, use your calculator and quickly answer the table. Then we have to plot these points. Then we get a beautiful graph of a parabola, that is the graph of f symbol. Now we continue, we have to sketch the graph of f inverse. We now know the method. We swap x and y, the coordinates. So we plot the points, carefully plot the points. We get the graph of f inverse. We don't need to calculate f inverse x, we just sketch the graph. So it's a 4 marks question. Okay, here it is a continuation. F inverse x. Is f inverse x a function? Give a reason for your answer. And we know how to test whether a graph is a function or not. We use the vertical line. Now we notice that for x equal to 4, there are 2 y values, that is 2 and -2. Now we conclude f inverse is not a function. For each x value, that's our reason, for each x value of f inverse, there are 2 y values. We continue with another question. F inverse is not a function. We already got it. How do we restrict the domain of f? That is the x values of f, so that f inverse is also a function. Look at this one. F and f inverse is there. If we use x equal to greater than 0, we get f inverse as a function here, and we can test it using the vertical line test for f inverse. Look at this one, x is less than or equal to 0. Again, f inverse is going to be a function. So the restriction is x is greater than or equal to 0 or x is less than or equal to 0. So we did the concept of functions and also the concept of inverse of functions. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.